Welcome to Skedlive. I'm your host, Angelica Sidney. Here are the stories we covered today. Antonia Savoya reports on the Snow Fest in Georgina over the weekend, held to raise donations for a food pantry. Humber College First Year Experience will host a dance-off on Valentine's Day to support 1 Billion Rising, a domestic abuse campaign. Skedline's Kezia Hines reports. Now let's take a look outside at today's weather with Kezia Hines.
Thanks, Angelica. This afternoon we are sitting at a high of -7 with a mix of sun and cloud overhead. Temperatures are expected to drop significantly this evening to a low of -19, which could feel like -28 with the wind chill. Things aren't looking any warmer as we look ahead to the 5-day forecast. Are they, Jake?
Unfortunately not, Kezia. Tomorrow we will feel a high of -12 with a low of -19. Clear skies overhead should bring in winds of about 15 kilometers an hour, keeping that wind chill factor up. Wednesday's low will remain at a -19, but things may feel a little warmer during the day with a high of -8. Sunny skies on Thursday will bring the temperature up to a high of -3. There is a 60% chance of light flurries on Friday that will drop only about 1 centimeter of snow. Things should stay a little warmer on Friday, though, with a high of -5 and a low of -7. Saturday's high will remain at -7, but could drop to a low of -11 moving into Sunday. Needless to say, it's going to be a cold week here in Toronto. Back to you, Angelica.
As we celebrate Black History Month, reporter Ore Akinkube sat down with hair care entrepreneur Monique London to talk about the politics behind Black hair care. Ore?
Welcome to Skedlive. Here with me is Monique London, from the owner of Curls with Care, and she's here to speak to us on the politics of black hair. Thank you, Monique. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. All right, so could you tell me, or tell us actually, of how you started Curls with Care and what made you go into it?
I started Curls with Care about 1.5 years ago. It came out of a personal demand to have hair care products that were both natural and organic and where possible vegan. I had transitioned at that point into thinking I was going to be a vegetarian for a little while and wanted to have the best possible hair care products for myself. It was a very hard challenge at one point just to find all the supplies that I needed and things like that. But once I got into the place of being able to label it, put bottles in it, then it became Curls with Care versus just the personal hair care challenge that I had already put myself in about 4 years prior to that when I had gone natural. So for the majority of the things I used were all things that I made myself, from my conditioner to hair butters and oils to styling products with like the regular flaxseed gel. But it became Curls with Care 1.5 years ago when I decided that it was time to take it from my house and just giving it away to friends and stuff, to at least recouping at the beginning what I was spending and then from there making a profit. So,
all right. So the Afro textured hair, we saw a rise of it in the 1960s from the Black Power movement and all of that. Now there's sort of a re-emergence of it, and then it was kind of like a political statement that the people were trying to make. Do you think that's what's happening again with the re-emergence of the Afro textured hair and black people embracing their hair again?
I would say that that is a yes and no question. Even calling it a reemergence is where it becomes, people kind of place it in between being a statement of sorts, while at the same time it's just being a lifestyle choice, where you have to realize that no matter what, once you are a woman of color with highly textured hair, you automatically get juxtaposed between deciding if you'd like to leave it in its natural state or if you want to fit into societal lines of feeling that you need to have your hair in a straight style or something that people might coin as being slightly more polished and more work appropriate or worldly appropriate, where you feel almost forced into a style that is going to work and get you somewhere. But a lot of people are now coming to realize that that isn't the same way that we had the emergence of the Black Power movement and that black is beautiful in the 60s and the late 50s. You come to this point now where people are starting to embrace the way that they are born, the way that it's a God-given thing from their hair. So it becomes a space of being political in the fact that no matter what you do, people are always going to associate your afro with an Angela Davis versus thinking of you as just being your grandmother. Hair that came out the way that we would have come across in boats and then come with our hair just being plaited or braided or whatever style was the most convenient for you at the time, but it was not a relaxer. Relaxers didn't come across until much later in time. So there was always a point in history where we had our hair. It may not have been out in a huge fro, there weren't picks at the time, but you still were having your hair in its curly state.
All right. So where do you see the natural hair movement going going in a few years? Do you think it's here to stay, or what do you think?
I think that now it has a better chance of staying public in the fact that there are so many other products out there, including my own line of Curls with Care, that are catering to these women, that are catering to women with not only Afro-textured hair, but just curly hair in general, so that they're now being able to embrace themselves in their true state and feel more comfortable going out with healthy hair, feeling that their hair is shiny and pretty, that they don't need to just put it away for the day because of, but just in saying that does not mean that they don't still feel the need to straighten their hair or wear braid styles or twists and stuff like that.
All right, okay. So one last question. What advice do you have for women interested in going natural or staying in their relaxed hair state?
For going natural, I would say to first take the time to understand that your hair will now be in two textures. So that's what people tend to call transitioning, where they go from having the really tightly coiled hair out into the relaxed state at the ends. But you need to take care of that space in between. You have to make sure you keep your hair moisturized and you keep it in low manipulation style, so you don't pull it out all the time. You got to keep it in as many tightly coiled states so that it doesn't break. When it comes to relaxed hair, it's the exact same care that I would tell any person with curly hair, that you need to take time. Just relaxing your hair doesn't mean it's healthy. It doesn't make sure that it's going to stay healthy. You need to keep it moisturized, keep it healthy, wrap it at night, do all the basic things that help you have beautiful hair.
All right. Thank you so much for having us, Monique.
No problem.
Thank you, Ore. Check out these stories and more on skedline.com. For Skedlive, I'm Angelica Sidney.